episode 6 of Before the Fight, another huge show. As always, I'm joined by Shotgun Shannon O'Connell and Gareth Williams. Shannon, big show.
Yeah, huge show to be on today. We got Justis Huni on, and yeah, it should be exciting.
G?
Mate, I'm looking forward to speaking with Miles and also my old mate Trent Broadhurst. Should be good.
Excellent. Let's kick it off with Miles Zalewski. Big upcoming fight on the Tasman Fighters card, mate.
I'm excited. So it's against Kyle Freiberg. The funny thing is, so like a decade ago, we're both in the amateurs. When 57 kilos existed as a weight division, he was a state champion. And I used to study him because I was coming through. And I used to watch him all the time, and he'd go to the Aussies and all of that. And when I was in Thailand, when I lived overseas, I saw him make a comeback as a pro, because he went to the army for X amount of years or something. And when I saw his highlights, he looked exactly the same.
So you're saying this fight's been on the radar for many years. Obviously, you know all about him. What is it that Kyle does very well, and what is it you think you can capitalise on?
I feel when I used to study him back in the day, he had that real tight defense. One that's how he was winning, where no boys could score. I know the pros are a different game now, where power really is different. Like, this is a dangerous sport, man. And I know now my body has matured since the day I used to study him. We're both growing up in the sport. But I feel I'm just a bit too much for him.
We saw you last on the Mundine Par show against TC Priestley. That was your first fight back after a bit of time off.
Yeah, look, I had 4 years off. I knew that fight, I had a lot of question marks around me. People with a preconception of what a layoff is, how would he perform, how would he look, ring rust, all that kind of stuff. And I had a break, so people thought I was training when I lived in Thailand for a couple of years. People thought I went there and I was going on all these training camps, but I really just got away from the sport.
Would you have been happy to live the rest of your life in Thailand, or
good place
did
to
you
live?
Come back,
Yeah.
or did you come back, and then got into boxing again?
Look, I've always loved the sport. So I've stayed connected with all my friends. I was watching Liam Wilson, Justis Huni. I was watching all of them come through, Jeff Horn. So boxing was changing. It's different to how it used to be when I was an active pro in the past. When I decided to come back, because I was living overseas, I thought I could go through Tokyo, live in different gyms, try on an international scene. But that's where I was on the phone to Benny Harrington, I was on the phone to Liam Wilson, and they kind of talked me into coming back. So when I decided to come back, it was purely for boxing. I didn't want to work, because in the past I was training full-time, I was working full-time. It was tough, man. Boxing is different now. People like Jeff Horn have paved the way for fighters like myself and Shannon to come through and get what we can financially out of it. But it's not just that, it's that we can live a lifestyle where it's just boxing development.
Where do you see yourself in boxing in the future? How old are you now?
I'm 30 now.
You're 30, so how long do you give yourself? What's the window to get as high as you can?
This is the thing, and everyone's different, and I can't wait to talk about this. I feel stronger now than I've ever have in my whole life, because like I said, I'm not working full time anymore. I can focus on training. I've got the right recovery team. My body's at a condition where it's limitless, and that's the mentality I want to carry on through my boxing career. Just I want to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, I agree. I think if your body's fit enough and you haven't been taking the punishment, especially that 4 years off might be a good thing for you. And like you said, you haven't had 300 amateur fights, been boxing since you were 10 years old, taking that punishment. So I think you become an old fighter when you admit you've become an old fighter. You know what I mean? If you stay fresh in the mind, obviously, if you're not taking the shots like you did, previously, then that's another story.
Now, again, onto another big card, what seems to be a year later.
I still feel like I need a couple to get in to feel really comfortable, but my sparring's been on point. Sparring Liam Wilson, Paro, Bruno, all of those boys, my sparring has been enough to really keep me active during the year.
How have you found the transition to your new team? You obviously, having Liam there is part of your old team as well. So, how are you finding it at All-Stars with Benny and everyone else around there?
Man, for any fighter or for any athlete in any sport, environment plays the biggest role, So it's such a fun environment where we're all serious, we all know where we're going, and that stuff's tough, difficult. But to be able to have a camaraderie with everybody, have that full support. It feels how it should feel.
Is this fight a Queensland title?
Yeah, this is state title. Yeah.
Have you won a state title before?
I did in previously.
Yeah.
But I think Freiburg is a much better opponent than the
So
previous
this is a
fight.
real
Yeah.
best of Queensland fight.
Yeah.
Who are the sponsors that have come on board at the moment to help out?
So we've got Oxmar Properties. They've jumped on board. I've got my new chefs, Devour Fit. They do the best foods. My conditioning gym in Albion, Fighting for Fitness. They're rebranding at the moment, so Pinnacle Fitness.
You've spoken about the team. You've spoken about the mental side of boxing and coming back, moving in and out with people like Paro and Bruno. What are you learning about yourself?
But what I really missed about the sport was just the camaraderie, the teamwork. Me going home, just ticking off small wins and collecting those small wins over time is what really gets the big wins as well.
What have you noticed in the ring that's changed? 4 years ago, you might have boxed really well on the outside. You might have noticed now that you're fighting well on the inside. Have you noticed any changes like that?
Yeah, Benny Harrington's really been cleaning up my style as well. I know I've got a strange style anyway, but now that we're really going down to the nitty-gritty of pro boxing, everything has to be cleaned up. So I give credit to that gym because I've noticed my sparring, like I've sparred Bruno, let's say 4 times, and every spar's been different. I'm slowly leveling up. Me and Liam Wilson, we're the best teammates because we have to be on for each other.
That Wilson try and drill you in the body?
Yeah, always. That's it. And because I know this is money shot,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
always,
his money.
really trying to cover that for him.
Keep that right elbow nice and low.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah.
good. The best sparring.
Yeah.
And this is all I can ask for because I need the best boys to spar with to be able to perform against some of the better boys even.
It's good to see you back in the sport. We're seeing better and better people all the time on the couches here. It's one of the great things about before the fight. Big card to be on for the Tasman Fighter card, and we're having a lot of those boys in on the show at the moment. It's great to have you in, mate. We're going to have you in again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm Andrew Maloney, and you're watching Before the Fight.
I'm Vegas Larfield, and you're watching Before the Fight.
This moves us to round 2, and we come out swinging with Trent Broadhurst, mate. Again on the Tasman card, big one to be on.
Yeah, it is, mate. Excited to be back on the big shows again. Where I think I belong. So,
Mate, 100%. I think you belong there. You've had a bit of time off. Well, sort of, but not really. You've stayed in the gym there with Chrissy McCullen.
yeah,
What's going on? Where's Trent Broadhurst at the moment with fighting?
I'm back, giving it 110%. You know what I mean? I get through this fight. There's a possibility I might be able to get the Opateo fight. And that's potentially 2 fights away from being back in the top 10 in the world. So, big opportunities on the horizon.
So you're up at cruiserweight now, Trent. Obviously, you fought. Was Caparella your last fight at light heavy?
Yeah.
Then you just decided my body's too big to get there
Yeah,
anymore.
last one.
Too much
Yeah.
draining of the body. So was that a big decision to make? Or?
So before that fight, it was starting to get a little bit harder. But that fight there was the turning point for me to be like, all right, it's getting too much now. You know what I mean? I was up walking about 88 kilos and just under 85 kilos a day of the weigh-in. So it got a bit too much, and that was the turning point for me.
Yeah, nice. So what have you done now to grow into a cruise? Obviously, I'm guessing you've had a strength program, and have you changed your life much, or have you just generally lived a bit more easier rather than dieting all the time?
Yeah, so as I said, I was sort of walking around that 88 kilo mark, and that was with watching my portion controls and things like that. So relaxing that a bit and doing a bit of weights, I was able to sort of put on 4 or 5 kilos of good muscle, and a couple of months later I did a bit more weights, and I was up around 96, 97 kilos. So that's where I've sort of been sitting at the moment.
You're an exciting fighter. You've been around, and it's fair to say that you've had a career where people have really got behind you and wanted to see you do well. You've said that you're a happy fighter now. Is this a change, Trent Broadhurst?
It is, 100%. There's been some comments and stuff thrown around the gym the last few weeks after the sparring and things like that. It's the best people have seen me in 3-4 years.
Yeah, and I guess as well, like coming into the gym, training to enjoy boxing again rather than thinking about your weight all the time. It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on the Dimitri Bivol fight. Mate, obviously, he's going to go on to be a superstar, I would think, in the sport,
Yeah, no
obviously,
doubt.
when the world opens up a bit more. What was that whole experience like as far as being in camp? Monaco, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, what was that whole experience like? Was it a big deal?
Yeah, it was. It's probably a bit too much, I'd say. Anyone that knows me knows I like to have a joke and mess around and things like that. But the week before that fight, I was a total nervous wreck, you know what I mean?
Really?
Didn't want to leave my room.
It's not like you, is it?
But no, not at all.
Clown prince normally.
Not at all. But.
Weight division that Australia's been almost lacking in of late, G, to be fair to say?
Cruiserweight, yeah. Except for Jai, I think. You know what I mean? Like now Trent's bringing himself into the mix. That's a good fight for the future. Obviously, if they can both get through these next opponents, then I think that's a really good fight.
Where do you think you're going to be stronger against this opponent?
I just think my footwork and my long jab, boxing ability, my good eyes, you know, and then get into that third, fourth round, and we'll look to start walking him down and breaking him down with those inside body shots, which I can throw quite well when I need to. So,
how is it with Chrissy at the moment in camp?
No, it's really good. He's been pushing me more than he has ever before the last couple of weeks, and it's enjoyable. It's something I haven't enjoyed in many years at the moment. So.
Chrissy's been there for you for a long time. Obviously, rest in peace, our old coach, Liam White, started your career off and then you took over. Chris, how good's Chris been for your... you know what? Chris has been more than a coach to you. He's been your mentor, hasn't he, throughout the last few years?
Yeah, 100%. If it wasn't for that man, I'd,
who knows?
Be in jail, dead. One of the two, 100%. I've got no doubt about it, you know what I mean? He gave me a place to live when I was maybe 14, 15 years old, and sort of kept me on the right track with the boxing and things like that, and mentored me through my early stages of life. Even though I wasn't always the best and done what he wanted, but he was always there and always stuck by me and encouraged me to do the best thing for myself, and for that I'll always be thankful. So
I want to see the Trent Broadhurst that everybody in the gym sees inspiring in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, I've not seen anyone spar, and it's amazing to watch Trent spar. Like, it's crazy good, but I've never seen you put that in a fight. Is that the Trent that we're going to see? Because you're happy, you're comfortable.
100%, and that was when I spoke to Stu Duncan about getting on this card. That was one thing I mentioned to him. I said I just want people to see what I can do in the gym. Yeah.
I suppose first things first, get this guy out of the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Get him out of the way, do his job.
That's
as well.
right. Yeah. That Navosi, he can crack a little bit, so I'm going to have to be on my game and make sure I don't get tagged at any time, you know what I mean? Up at these bigger weights with these bigger punches, one shot with those small gloves on, that's all it takes. So.
He'll fight anyone too.
100%.
He will fight anybody.
100%, yeah. Talking about fighting Django a couple of months back as well, at heavyweight.
Wow.
So just, the bloke just...
Anyone else thinks that's madness. Yeah.
It's madness.
Mate, looking forward to seeing you on this big card and seeing you just, let the hands go.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm Jason Maloney, and you're watching Before the Fight.
I'm Steve Deller, and you're watching Before the Fight.
Round 3, Justis Huni. Mate, you're an exciting prospect. Great to have you on the show. Great to see you turn pro.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to make my pro debut. It's a big one, so yeah.
Mate, there's talks that you're going to be doing the Olympics as well, if they come off.
If the Olympics go ahead, I'd love to tick that off. It's always been a dream to me, so yeah, I'll still be going ahead with the Olympics next year.
Mate, when you won your bronze medal at the World Championships, you didn't even lose a fight. You had to pull out sick, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How was it over there? Still fighting with sickness and still winning a bronze medal at the World Championships?
Yeah, it was hard. I lost 8 kilos. I got off the plane when I got back here, and I was dehydrated. I could barely walk off the plane. So yeah, I went straight to the hospital and taken care of.
Mate, it's not bad for an Australian, especially when we haven't had much success in the world internationally in the amateur game. To not lose a fight and still win the bronze medal, that's pretty handy.
Oh, I was surprised. So when I came out, because I didn't even warm up much in the quarterfinal, and I was like, went out there, I was cold. I just went out there and I was just giving my best shot. I told my coach Mark Wilson I was just giving my best shot, and I came away with the win.
Good.
So yeah,
He's got a lot of good stories, and he's trained a lot of good kids as amateurs through the year, and then starting the pro game with myself, with Chris McCullum when we co-coached him at the time, and then Now his big dog's coming through, Justis Huni.
How important is it to wear the green and gold and do well for your country?
Oh, it means the world to me when I step up on that podium. Even when I step out and fight, it means the world to me. And I know like everyone back here in Australia is watching, even though it's like usually at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, because I'm like the last fight of every session. But after every fight I get nice kind messages from everyone. So
What's the difference now coming into this professional fight? Obviously, it's a big one. It's actually unheard of, isn't it? Fight for the Australian title against a really well-credentialed fighter.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's exciting because I haven't really experienced anything like this.
Have you been worried about the 10 rounds, or pretty much when the question came up, do you want to fight for an Australian title? You went, yep, I'll do it, and just thought about it rest later.
Nah, I didn't even think about the first it was like, oh, you do an 8-rounder on debut, and then they told me about the Australian title and stuff, and then I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Like on debut, I was like,
You thought about it later.
And then I didn't even think about the 10 rounds, because it should I should be sweet with the 10 rounds. I spar a lot of pros, which we do long rounds, especially with Jai. When we do spar, we do 10 rounders. So. I should be ready.
Have you thought about at any point that you're going to step into a pro ring, realise how much better it is, because it is, and then not have that hunger to go to the Olympics?
Yes, I have. It's been on my mind a lot lately, actually, because just experiencing all of this, I've been thinking would I even want to go back to the amateurs? But I think I have to do it because I've put so much.
Well, you've done it. You're there. So.
Yeah, I'm there already. I've already been to the qualifiers and qualified, so I might as well just finish it off at the Olympics and hopefully medal there. So
let's get a gold one, eh?
Yeah, we're going for the gold.
Get a real shiny one. Yeah.
But how does it feel when you're moving in and out with top quality pros and they're rating you?
Sparring with Jai and the other top heavyweights in the country, Dempsey McKean, being given the chance to even get in the ring with them is an honour. So, for them to say that about me, it gives me heaps of motivation and builds my confidence.
Well, he definitely fills out the seat better than anyone else we've had in there, doesn't he?
Feet don't dangle.
Mate, big fight with Django. Like we said, Australian title on debut. How do you see the fight going?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. We're just going to get in there and give it my best shot, just showcase my ability pretty much. And I just want to get in there and box because that's what I do best. I got heaps of respect for Django. We've done heaps of rounds in the past for sparring, and we fought in the amateurs. So I know he's tough, and he won't be just coming to give his side away. Like, he's going to come ready. So it should be good come 22nd of October.
There's a lot of questions on everyone's lips, I think, about this fight because Justis is great. Look, let's be honest, you are a world-class athlete. You don't go to world championships and medal as a heavyweight, if you're no good. You are a world-class athlete. But I suppose the question on everyone's lips is, how will Justis go with boxing more than 3? How will Django survive the early rounds? It's probably black and white how people think the fight are going. Would you agree, Shannon?
Yeah, 100%. But I've also known Justis because I've always been close with Mark's gym and that. They've never trained Justis for 3 rounds. Justis has always done long rounds. So it's almost like he's always trained like a pro for the amateurs. So I don't think it's going to be that much of a worry for him.
We do long rounds leading up to the competition, like international comps, and then as we get closer, that's when we bring it,
pull it down
to 3 rounds and just sharpen everything up. But everything like before that is pretty much just like how we're training now. So
who's been your toughest opponent to date? Is there somebody you go, geez, I remember getting a hiding off that kid, or I remember? Is there anybody, or is it like one of the best in the world that you've fought that?
I think all my opponents they've all been pretty challenging.
Everyone's just slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen you with a few non-challenging opponents.
Oh yeah. There has been like a couple, but
But to be honest, Justis makes them non-challenging. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
No detriment to the other kids.
No,
he is a world-class athlete.
Thanks, G.
That's right. It's
Give
true.
me a big head.
It's
I
true,
already
mate.
got a big head, but yeah. Hey, I think I don't know. I treat all my opponents the same, equal. Probably my last fight was it wasn't my best performance, but it was probably one of the toughest fights I've had. So yeah.
Mate, I'd like to go. Obviously, your dad's been in your corner since day one. Let's give your dad a few raps for what he's done. And it's not just your dad; it's your whole family. You know what they've done for you.
Yeah, without my old man, I definitely wouldn't be sitting in this seat right now. I don't know what I would be. I probably would have stayed and played footy from when I was younger. He gave me the option when I was younger whether I wanted to play footy or boxing, but I chose boxing because I felt like that's what he wanted me to do as well.
Right. Okay.
So, and yeah, I've been doing it since then. But yeah, the amount of time and effort he's putting into me to get me to where I am today, it's I don't know.
It's everything in it.
Yeah, it's everything. Yeah. I'm very thankful for what he's done, and my mum, my family, everyone around me. So yeah.
You've got a lot of support around you at the moment. Mick Francis and Tasman have invested a lot of time into you. How good is it to have an organisation like them and you know, potentially DNL in your corner?
Yeah, I got my team is very solid at the moment. I got probably the best team I could have, and that's why they're getting me these fights like this. Like, you have to have a good team behind you to do this on debut, like an Australian title. When they told me that, they were like, "This is history. Like, no one's ever fought for Australian title on debut." So I was like, I was very excited. I was very happy.
Yeah, I remember Golden Gloves a couple of years that, Mick would pay for someone to come up, and literally the entire room was just eyes on Justis. Like, it was like a pro crowd in the amateurs, and it was Mick brought up
Down in
opponents
Acacia
for
Ridge,
him.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was that's another example of what Mick does for me.
How many years has Mick been involved with your amateur career? Good few years, anyway.
Yeah. 2016.
Mate, it's like you've all
17.
developed together and learning together and keep progressing onwards.
Yeah.
So
So now we're all just like family. So I'm grateful to have everyone on board, and it's a teamwork makes the dream work. So
that's right.
Speaking of teamwork, Leon from Madison gives you big raps. He says that you're extremely loyal. You'll be donning the Madison gloves for this fight.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. We got some pretty cool gloves. Oh, I think they're cool anyways. I've never had my name or anything on gloves, so I'm excited to chuck them on when come October 22nd.
These custom-made gloves for your first fight's not too bad, is it?
Or who do you want to give a shout out to?
I just want to shout out to my major sponsors, Lang's Building Supplies, and Madison Sport, and big shout out to Supreme Barbershop that keep me fresh nearly every day.
Every day.
Weren't you in there with him?
I went in there the other day, took Felix in, and I'm like, "Hey, Justis." Every day he's got photos of Justis in there.
Yeah, so pretty much there every day. If you do want to come down to Supreme Barbershop, they're open every day, Monday to Sunday, just at Logan Lee.
Have a
next to
go
Logan
at
Lee
this,
train
would ya?
station.
He's on the payroll too, this
You're
bloke.
not wrong.
But I couldn't be where I am today without all my sponsors. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of them.
Mate, thanks for being on the show, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
The third instalment of the world famous Tulge tapes.
How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm very well. Now, I know you've been under the pump a little bit, so we'll keep this one brief. Charlo brothers, way too good.
Yeah, I backed him to beat Derevchenko
Yeah.
in a close fight. So I thought that was going to happen. He's just a bit younger. He's a bit more hungrier. But yeah, that's boxing. It was a great fight. And the other one, other Charlo brother with Rosario. Rosario was just walking him down, but he just kept on getting caught. And at that level, you can't do it. And at the end of the day, this cost me $1,500 in a multi.
I'm telling you right now, there's not a man on the planet that was going to say that fight was going to stop from a body shot from a jab.
Yeah, exactly right.
If you could tip that, then you had a crystal ball, you knew what was going on. But he went high, he went low, and it must have stuck like a spear because he didn't get up.
Yeah, he looked like he got hit with a gun.
It looked very painful. It looked very
Yeah, that's right. And it wasn't getting up at all. And yeah, look, it looked like nothing, but that can be deceiving.
Yeah,
as we all know.
Mm.
Those body
Now,
shots are killer.
mate, an absolute killer. So where do you think the twin Charlos go from here?
In the junior middleweight division, the next step is to get that Texera for the WBO title. So then he's got every title in that division.
Wow.
And
How do you think Texera will match up?
I think you fare the same as Rosario.
Yeah,
Probably worse. But he's fighting Castagna. I think his name is the mandatory. So he might not even have the title. That would probably be a better matchup, to be honest. But I think it'd still end up with Charlo holding all the titles.
Josh Taylor, another convincing win.
That was a first round destruction. So it looks like it'll be him versus Ramirez. But there's a mandatory in the way of Jack Catterall. And Bob Arum, he's got both of the guys. And I just saw an interview with him actually last night where he said that fight with Ramirez and Taylor will happen regardless. If it means they've got to drop the WBO belt, which it won't happen, they'll probably do a deal where the winner fights Catterall.
Hopefully Liam Parra can get a look in there somewhere. It'd be nice.
Well, that's right. Even if it goes to Catterall next, then that means Parra will be next in line after that. And it's okay for him. He doesn't need to rush. He's very young and he's got a big future ahead of him.
He does. I think rushing it would be a mistake. I think, taking it steady and watching what happens and picking the right shots would be the good game changer for them. Tell me that Pacquiao-McGregor isn't going to happen.
Pacquiao-McGregor isn't going to happen. But I don't know that for a fact. In boxing, you never know. I never thought that they'd do Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, but that still looks like it's on the cards. And McGregor and Mayweather before. So never say never. Where there's a dollar to be made, a lot of these guys will do anything. And it sounds like it's not actually finalised yet, but there is talk of it. And I heard quotes, I don't know if they're right or not, that Pacquiao was saying the majority of the profits from that fight of his side will go to COVID-19 victims in the Philippines.
Would you say it's fair to say that Mayweather carried McGregor in that first fight?
100%. I actually believe that he's probably bet on himself in that fight to go. I think it's got stopped in the 10th maybe. And if you go after 9 rounds, you get better odds. So nothing surprises me in boxing.
But do you think Manny comes out and finishes him in the first round?
Oh, I'd have to agree. He won't be holding back for anything.
This moves us along to the chances of Dennis Hogan fighting an international opponent. Have you heard anything about that?
They're looking to fight in America again. And if they win that one, then they're next in line to fight for a world title.
We're going to tie it up there for the Tulge tapes.
Sounds good, mate.
All right, mate.
Cracking show coming on next week. Clay Waterman, Joel Camilleri is going to be on the show. Hopefully Django's going to be on the show as well. This is Before the Fight.